Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
Wave 9 is here, and we mean the full wave, including the gold chase figures and the JSA 3-pack, and we are unboxing all of these today on Just BSing. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and yes, we do have Super Powers Wave 9 in its entirety on the channel today, and that is 9 figures, so there's a lot to get through. We won't waste any time. We'll get right into it. If you are new to the channel, the way we like to do it is we go through each figure individually, give them their own rating, and then we give the overall wave a rating at the end. And our rating scale is so good, good, not BS, BS, and total BS. So with all of that out of the way, we can jump right in, and we will go ahead and start with those 40th anniversary figures. That is Aquaman and Wonder Woman. Let's start with the Aquaman. We'll just take a look at him individually first. We'll take a look at the packaging first and give you guys a 360 of that. Pause if you want to read any of the information on the back or check out that UPC code. As always, it's Super Powers. The packaging is pretty cool. The card art is almost a match for the figure that's inside of it this time, and you do see the 40th anniversary logo there on the top. So right off the bat, we can see some differences between this version of Aquaman and the original. So we'll go ahead and dive into this one and take a closer look at the figure out of the package. And here's the 40th anniversary gold Aquaman out of his package, and man, he's not that gold, is he?
No, not at all.
Not that gold. He does have a gold trident, so this trident is a more gold color than the original, and he does have a pretty cool little metallic sheen to the top there. It kind of reminds me of Jason Momoa.
Yes.
Like the metallic.
I think that's what they were going for.
That's kind of what I think they were going for too, is that was the inspiration there. I do like that they added the black trunks as well. That's
a nice touch. I like that too.
Nice little callback to Kenner. Same figure though, overall. I mean, it's just a straight repaint. He's got the same longer hair and beard, so no new Aquaman face sculpt. I know a lot of people were kind of hoping for that. Maybe the more classic short hair without the beard from the Super Friends cartoon and kind of the early days of the comics, but yeah, I'm not upset about that. I kind of like the longer hair and beard look myself.
Yeah, I like it a lot too. I mean, I thought that was a nice update to Aquaman, keeping him with the longer hair like that. With the gold edition, thing I would have loved to have seen is actually made his hair gold.
yeah, I would have liked that
it's
too.
blonde, but I mean, he doesn't have much gold on him except the belt and the trident.
He's got
So man, just make the hair gold too. That'd be kind of sweet.
If you look at the original figure in comparison, the hair is a little bit golder, so maybe that was kind of what they were going for.
Little blonder. It's not as yellow, that's for sure.
A little blonder.
Yeah.
I mean, just the biggest difference I noticed between the two of them when you're comparing them and pulling them out and looking at them side by side, that original was just so dull in comparison.
Yeah, I really like some of the sheen, I guess.
Yeah.
On this one, I like this new figure a lot better. It's just like you said, this one's pretty bright, and I like it a little bit darker like this.
It's this one the original almost kind of looks bootleg next to next to this updated version. Even though it is the exact same figure, there is a clear difference there. That extra sheen, the black trunks, the kind of updated look of the hair and everything, it just adds so much. Definitely an overall better figure. I'll go ahead and kick off the rating for this one. I believe we gave the original Aquaman a not BS when we first took a look at him in Wave 4. I think the updates, even though it is the same figure, I know some people are going to be disappointed that they didn't do a new head sculpt or anything like that, but this really, like the changes added a lot to this figure. I'm going to go ahead and kick it up to a good.
Yeah, 100%. I was thinking good as well. I was just taking a look at his face and taking out the patchy beard and stuff.
The patchy beard.
Patchy beard. I like him a lot. It's a nice update. It's definitely deserving of a good, in my opinion.
And now we can go ahead and get into the other gold edition, Wonder Woman. So we can take a look at her packaging as well. And again, you know, the thing with the gold figures, it still kind of bugs me, is they don't put a gold version of the character on the card art. So while the card art's great for both of these figures, but I would have liked to have seen in all of the gold figures that kind of addition of a gold art. But no, other than that, it looks very good. It's, again, Super Powers. So we'll take a look at the 360. We'll look at the UPC code as well for those of you who like to do that. Pause if you want to read anything on the back. Cool picture. I like the art that they did choose for this particular version of Wonder Woman, even though it doesn't match the figure inside. And something that is immediately noticeable that none of the
She doesn't have a cape.
She doesn't have a cape. What she has instead...
What?
A lasso.
It's about time.
Oh my God,
a golden lasso.
Golden lasso of truth. Three Wonder Woman in, we finally get the lasso. So we'll go ahead and pop this Wonder Woman open, take a look at her outside of the package. All right, and here is our gold Wonder Woman out of the package and with her lasso in hand. So I know there's a lot of people who weren't a fan of this sculpt for Wonder Woman. I think it was like a little too outside of what the classic Wonder Woman looked like, especially from the Kenner line and that kind of thing. We actually really liked it.
Yeah.
We like this sculpt. We did notice that there's a wildly different skin tone between the first Wonder Woman and the second Wonder Woman. It does look like this one kind of went back to the first kind of olive-skinned Wonder Woman. It's definitely not as peachy colored as the Wave 4 Wonder Woman. It's more on par with the Wave 3. But you know what? Something about that gold just really makes this Wonder Woman look really nice. It kind of reminds me of the gold armor that she will sometimes wear, that golden eagle armor. It just works really well for her, and I do still like this sculpt. I know it's not everyone's favorite, but I think for us, we like it.
Yeah, 100%. I like the sculpt. Still love the hair. It's awesome.
There's a lot of detail.
Yeah, for me, yeah, you could definitely see it is 3 different skin color types. For the gold one, it almost blends in with her costume. So I've almost seen it almost kind of like a full body type of a gold look at some points, just from like the lighting. But I mean, it works well with her. I like it a lot, and said love the lasso, finally having that. So yeah, I like this character a bunch.
I dig it. I dig it. I'll go ahead and kick off the rating on this one. Again, I'm kind of inclined to keep this one at the same level. I do like the gold a lot. I don't think it necessarily improves the figure, although that lasso is tempting to make it go up to a so good. But that's an accessory. It's not the figure itself. So I think I'm going to stick with good for this Wonder Woman.
There you go. I think I gave at least one of these Wonder Woman a so good, the other one a good. I don't remember which one, but I like this one. Not so good level, but a good level as well.
Good level as well. So yep, two goods there as well. So we can take a look now with all of the gold figures that we have so far. We can take a look at how they all look together. And yeah, that's very apparent when they're all spread out together like that the Aquaman stands out a little bit with the metallic orange and all of that, and not quite as much gold. However, I still think that they all look fantastic together as a set. So if you are someone who is collecting those 40th anniversary gold edition figures, I don't think you'll be disappointed in either one of these to add to that collection. And now we will go into the main 4 of the Wave 9, which is what most of you have been receiving, I think, this past week. McFarlane was on the ball this time, started getting these things sent out early. But we will go ahead and start with the Batman first. So this is a black and gray repaint of the classic Detective Batman. And anyone who's been watching our videos knows I'm happy about this one. I've been wanting a black and gray for a long time.
Yeah.
I thought our Dark Knight Returns was going to be black and gray, and it was not. It was a dark blue and gray. But I'm actually happier that that one wasn't, because we get it on the, what I think, and I think what you think, and I think what most people think, the superior sculpt is the classic Detective Batman. So this looks very cool inside the package. And the classic, like kind of almost Adam West Batman logo there too. I love that. We take a look at the back and the UPC code. Pause if you want to read anything there. And we will go ahead and jump into this, get him out of the package. All right, we have our black and gray Batman out of the package, and looks pretty good. I mean, he's just a straight repaint. It's nothing really different other than the colors. I do like the black and gray quite a bit. So yeah, we can compare it to 2 of the other classic Detective Batman sculpts in the original with the blue and gray and the solid black, because it's kind of almost an in-between of those 2. Looks very good together. Again, this is a great figure. They all look very good. I like black and gray myself. I know some people are blue and gray, some people are all black, some people are black and gray. I like them all, but black and gray happens to be my favorite color scheme, so I'm very happy with this one.
Yeah, 100%. I love the black and gray as well. This is an awesome looking figure. Wasn't sure how I was going to actually like it, but actually holding him, seeing him, I really like it. I mean, he's a fantastic figure, and that's one that, you know, I love the all black, I love the blue. This gray and black Batman has got to be probably one of my favorites already.
Oh man, see, I should have realized that we share a brain, but I didn't realize that that was your favorite color scheme as well. So we are both very happy about a black and gray.
Yeah, I remember reading it, same in the comics like that. It kind of, it's been years though. Yeah. It hasn't been, he's been all black, So seeing him back like this, man, it's really cool looking.
Yeah. The only thing that I think I may have preferred over this version, I still like it with the yellow oval and kind of that classic yellow oval. But if they'd have just gone with kind of the bat symbol without the yellow oval over that, that's typically how you'll see him in that black and gray. But that's not enough to ding this for me. I'm giving this one a so good.
Yep, 100% so good as well.
All right. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the Riddler. And this has been a divisive one online because some people really like what they were going for. Some people really don't like what they were going for. So for those who don't know, this is kind of an homage to the original Kenner line. The South American variant from Super Amigos was a completely repainted Hal Jordan to look like the Riddler. So what they kind of did with this one is a repainted Hal Jordan head and a Nightwing body, and we'll take a look at that a little bit more detail when we get them out of the package. So they didn't go all the way with it, but they kind of went part way with it. That's what they were going for. It's a cool callback. So it was almost one of those things when these kind of first leaked and we hadn't seen any images or anything like that. I even said in that video, I said it would be kind of funny if they did that, and then they did it, so I'm not mad at it. But we can take a look at the packaging as always. The card art there, Riddler striking a very sassy pose on the front of this card, and we have the back and the UPC code pause if you'd like to read any of that. So let's get this guy out of the package and take a closer look at this callback to Super Amigos. All right, and here we have our very Hal Jordan looking Riddler out of the package. I really like the color of green that they used on this one, but it's pretty funny. So this is definitely a Nightwing body. In fact, we have kind of Nightwing here to confirm that this is a Nightwing body. He's got the open hands. The only reason I could tell when it first came out, the pictures first came out, was he didn't have the closed hand and open hand like the Hal Jordan does to hold the lantern and to show off his ring. So it was obvious it was a different body, and then looking at it, it was fairly evident that that was Nightwing. So it's pretty funny because you can see the Hal Jordan head on top of the Nightwing body, how much different that makes that head look, and with the color that they painted him as well. But pretty spot on for the Super Amigos as far as the color scheme goes and everything like that. Really kind of dig that. I think I might have preferred if they'd have just gone all the way with it and painted Hal Jordan fully rather than putting the head on a Nightwing body. Or if they weren't going to do that, I think it would have been cool to kind of give another homage to the Toy Biz line, where you had some kind of a bootleg mold of the Flash to make their Riddler. I think it could have been kind of cool if they had put the Hal Jordan head on the Flash body, which also would have made it a little bit slimmer, which I know some people have complained online that this Riddler looks too jacked to be the Riddler. So you would have had a little bit of a slimmer body, still had that Hal Jordan head, and then you would have been paying homage to two classic lines that a lot of people love. That said, I'm not 100% upset with what I'm seeing here. It's pretty cool looking Riddler, kind of a standalone Riddler. Let me know your thoughts on this one, Chris.
Yeah, so I'm going to side kind of on that. He's too bulky.
He is a bit bulky.
I would have loved to have seen him a little bit more kind of slender like that. I love that it is still like the Hal Jordan head. So that was definitely...
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I love that. Overall, I think the costume wasn't really like that in like the 80s. And Super Friends, he just had like a giant question mark on it. So I think this is kind of like the more 40s to 60s kind of Riddler outfit.
Yeah, and it matches the card art pretty well too.
So, it matches the card art. And so I love that kind of an aspect. But overall, I think he's a pretty good Riddler. I think it is a nice throwback to that Super Amigos toy. So
it is a nice throwback. It's pretty funny that they did that. So I know a lot of people wanted kind of a unique Riddler sculpt. Maybe
Jim Carrey one?
Maybe something like that. Yeah, something like in the suit or something like that. Yeah, Jim Carrey with the bright orange hair. No, something kind of in the suit with the bowler hat, maybe a cane or something along those lines.
That would have been cool too, yep.
So maybe that's in the future. This was a fun little callback.
I love the callback, yeah.
I do wish they would have gone all the way with it, or like I said, kind of use that Flash body just to kind of homage a couple of different lines there. So I am going to ding it for that. I think it would have been a stronger figure, either gone all the way or with that other body. So for me, I'm going to give this one a not BS.
Oh man, see, I was right there with you too.
Another not BS?
I was going with either, I was kind of toying between good and not BS. I was leaning kind of there to that not BS side, so I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, I wanted to give it a good. I really did, because like in a bubble, I don't hate that. I think it's pretty cool, but knowing what they were trying to call back to and what could have been, it could have been better.
And for me, they could have knocked it up to a good if on the card art they just put Amigo in there somewhere.
Oh, that would have been funny. Yeah, that would have been funny. That would have been really funny. Yeah, just like cross out powers and put Amigos on it. That would have been hilarious. But overall, a not BS for us on the Riddler. All right, and next we will get into this Bizarro. And man, I know a lot of people have been wanting a Bizarro for a while, including us. So I'm really glad that they did this. Card art is pretty cool, kind of very reminiscent of the Tales from the Bizarro world, which is what they're basing this one off of. And it is confirmed, and we'll take a look at it and confirm it fully when we get them out of the package. They did get the backwards S on there. I know the initial promo images, it looked like it was a Superman oriented S and even had that on the cape, but we will see when we get them out of the package that that is not the case, so we don't have to worry. Take a look at the back and the UPC code. Pause if you'd like to read any of those. So with that said, we will get this guy out of the package because he is very cool, and I'd like to take a closer look at him. All right, and here is our Bizarro out of the package with his Bizarro #1 name tag. I love that they added that detail to it and that it is removable. I'm not going to remove it in this video, but it is removable, and as we move that out of the way, we do see that he has the backwards S for sure, and has the backwards S on the cape as well. So this is just well, we haven't looked at the Superman yet, but this is the Superman body, the new Superman body that we will be taking a look at very shortly. But I do love that they have a unique head sculpt and they didn't just repaint the Superman to have kind of a white textured face. So this is a very cool head sculpt. He's got some beefy cheeks on him. It looks like he's storing some nuts for the winter in those cheeks. I love it. When I first saw this, I wasn't sure if they took that Metamorpho head and kind of restyled or retooled it, but no, this is a completely new head sculpt, and I love that. This is a very cool figure. The cape on this one is shorter than the Superman, which we'll see when we get Superman out of the package later, but I think that works with how he looked in the comics at that time as well. It was a shorter cape, and so it fits really well for this figure. What are your thoughts, Chris, on this one?
Dude, I love it. And in addition to the different type of face, obviously they got neckline, different color, and the hands and Superman, so that's really cool. The only thing though is looking at the Superman logo, or the
Bizarro logo. Yeah.
I don't know, it's like I see a lot of white in there, so I don't know what they did with this one or something like that, but that kind of, I don't know, something about that's throwing me off on it. It's like they didn't paint it correctly or something.
It almost makes me wonder if they went back and repainted some of these figures so that it did have the backwards S, and so maybe you're seeing some of the lines from the original paint sculpt over that. That said, if that's what they did, if they did go back and repaint it and did retool the cape so that it had the backwards S, I'm all for that. I am glad that they did it, and I know a lot of people were kind of hoping maybe for that kind of darker color scheme, maybe the darker blue, the purple, that kind of thing, of kind of what Bizarro looks like in kind of more modern times.
Yeah, that's when they started doing that more in the 90s.
Yeah.
But in the Silver Age, this was Bizarro.
It was just Superman's outfit.
Smaller emblem.
Yeah.
But I love this character, man. This is a great action figure.
Agreed.
And a villain.
And it matches.
Well, he is friend, me and friend.
Me and friend. He is a villain outside of Bizarro World.
Correct.
But on Bizarro World, he and friend. And and this color scheme also works really well, because if you're trying to build your Legion of Doom for the Super Friends, that's the color scheme they used on the Super Friends as well. So I'm really liking this one. What do you? I'm gonna let you kick off the ratings on this one. What are you rating this one?
I'm giving this guy a so good. Even it's got the little schmutz going on with the backwards Superman logo. I got to give him a so good.
I am with you. This is a so good for me as well, and it's a perfect sculpt for if they do want to do that darker color scheme later. Easy repaint. You can just repaint this one and it'll still look great. So really like this one a lot. Possibly one of my favorite figures of the line so far.
Yes, totally. I was going to say the same thing. This is one of my favorites. Maybe it is just from having the more traditional Superman color blues too, the Superman colors. But like you were saying, they can easily do it with the dark blue purples, darker blue, you know, lots of different variants you could do with them. But the head sculpt I love.
I do too.
Everything about this character.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, definitely one of the strongest of the line so far. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the
Man of Steel.
Man of Steel, the one that so many people have been hoping for and calling for since the beginning. A brand new sculpt for Superman. And on the card art, almost the exact same as the original Kenner Superman. I really like that. I really like that
I love that too.
Yeah, I really like that they use that. So we can take a look at the back again and the UPC code. Of course, pause if you'd like to read any of that. But this is another one I'm eager to get out of the package and take a look at. So we will do that right now. All right, we have our Superman out of the package, and as some of our subscribers have called him in the comments and on Instagram, the California Superman. With his very tanned skin and bright white teeth. That said, I did find what I think is the art inspiration for this particular look of Superman. It is by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. There's a couple of versions that I'm thinking of. The Superman Unchained variant covers, where he is very tanned on those. And so is Mix, by the way, on this specific cover. But more specifically, this one that is a flying shot. Jose Luis Garcia Lopez art. He's got the same exact smile. He's got the tan skin. If this wasn't the inspiration photo for this figure, I would be very surprised. I think that this is exactly it. So with that said, the tan skin works. The tan skin works really well. And as Chris pointed out before recording,
it's like Superman gets all his powers from the sun. So yes, he's going to be of course he's going to be tan.
Of course.
He's got to be tan.
He's got to be tan. Yeah, so this guy looks really good. Again, like you were talking about the classic colors on Bizarro.
Yeah.
This color scheme is fantastic. We can take a look the giant S on the back of the cape, but these capes are they're continuing to get better from McFarlane, although I might replace this one with my Cape Master version of the cape that I currently have on the Wave 1 Superman, because I think it might just, a smaller symbol would be a little bit of a better fit for this kind of classic looking Superman. But speaking of classic and the Wave 1 McFarlane Superman, let's take a look at how this guy stacks up with those two. Yeah, he looks really good next to that Kenner original Superman. Kenner probably still takes the edge as far as my favorite Superman action figure of all time, besides the Hot Toys. Like, yeah, no one's gonna beat that Hot Toys. But this one is very, very close. I really like the way he looks a lot. He is much larger. He is much larger than the Kenner Superman. And that's something I've been seeing a lot online is, man, his scale is he's a massive Superman. But I'm one of those guys that when I was a kid, I would mix and match toy lines all the time. I would have superpowers with Hasbro wrestlers and superpowers with He-Man, and I would just mix it all up. No concern for scale whatsoever. So I think that's kind of continued into adulthood. As long as it's not like Superman being the size of like Darkseid, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with that scale. Now, one of our close friends of the channel, Super Powers Reviews, did his review on this, I think over the weekend or last week. And he's definitely kind of more concerned about that scale. If you're one of those people, I highly recommend going and checking out his review. It was very good. We'll link that in our description as well. But check out Super Powers Reviews. He's doing some good stuff over on his channel. Anyway, back to this Superman. Yeah, I'm digging it. I think that symbol is slightly stretched out for my liking. I think I would have preferred if they'd have kind of gone with closer to the Kenner logo, but that's a minor nitpick. Scale is a minor nitpick. Everything else looks really good. Tan is a minor nitpick, which we've now proven is comic accurate. The teeth, the grimace, the smile, whatever you want to call it. Some people don't like it. I dig it. It's another so good for me.
There you go. So yeah, this is another fantastic Superman action figure. Again, I love these classic colors. And then same thing with kind of like the logo you were saying. It's a little stretched out. It's kind of like the Dean Cain Superman.
A little bit.
But for me, he's definitely one of my favorites. This is going to be one that we're actually going to slightly differ on.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I'm only going to give him a good.
You're going to knock him down to a good.
I'm going to knock him down to a good, and one of the reasons why is I'm not a fan of the smile.
Oh, you don't like the...
I've been looking at it since the pictures came out. I'm not knocking it down just because of that, but the Superman emblem for me, there's too much yellow. They didn't emphasize the S enough on there. If you go and look at and pretty much every other Superman logo, there's hardly any type of yellow in it. And there's too much for me, you know. So you can look at like some of the other figures that that they've made before, the Kenner, even the other one. So it's two small little things for me, but Superman being like one of my favorite heroes of all time, I hold him up to that higher standard like that. So I want him to be perfect, and just some little tweaks like that would put him in that so good level for me.
I hear you, man. I hear you. I'm a little skewed because I really didn't like this old sculpt that much more. So the fact that this is so much better and so much more like Kenner, yeah, I'm letting that skew my opinion. I'm sticking with the so good. Yeah. I agree with you. 100%. But like I said, I'm not going to let that knock my review down. It's staying so good for me. Your review is correct at good, but yeah, I'm letting my judgment be clouded by my love for Superman.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
We're kind of opposite there. You are holding Superman to a higher standard because you're favorite, and I am letting my judgment be clouded because he's my favorite, and because this sculpt is so much better than that other one.
But I also have to give major props to that box art, or the card art there, because I did love that it is almost the exact same from that '84 Superman.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
And if you compare them side by side, and we can do that right now, I mean, you look at them, they look really nice together. Like those two together look very nice. Scale aside, I know this one's a little bit bigger. I know some people do have a problem with that, but those two standing next to each other looks great. Looks great. Maybe if you didn't have quite as big a smile, it would look a little bit better.
Yeah.
So that was the main four, and now we can get into what many of you were probably waiting for, is this JSA 3-pack, and we actually did hear, as of today recording this, McFarlane is already shipping these out now too.
Nice.
So man, they were on the ball with this one as well. So by the time a lot of you are watching this video, you might already have this in hand and you can be formulating your own thoughts as well. But something that is just kind of weird, and I don't know why they did that, is they put the names and the logos of those names wrong on the front. They don't line up with the way the characters are oriented in the packaging. So yeah, that's a weird oversight there, and just something silly. But no actual card art on the front. So all of the card art for these are on the back. You can take a look at all of their bio cards, pause if you want to read anything. Of course, the UPC code is there as well. But these are very fun. So let's dig into these and take a look at Starman, Hourman, and Alan Scott Green Lantern in the flesh. Okay, and we have Alan Scott Green Lantern, Starman, and Hourman out of the packaging. Here is our first building of the JSA inside the McFarlane line, and we know from our leaks earlier, and has been confirmed since, in Wave 10 we will be seeing Jay Garrick, so he will be able to join his buddies in the JSA. I'm loving these capes, the way they have the capes done, very cool. I love the two-tone cape on Alan Scott Green Lantern. Mm-hmm. These guys look great together as a set, and I think, so if we're going to take a look at Hourman a little bit, I know there were some people who were kind of hoping maybe they would do some of that black shading on the mask, like he's been shown, in the comics, kind of like how the classic Detective Batman did that black shading on the front, but just, man, that looks really good as is. So I'm not going to ding that too much for that.
Yeah, I think so too. I really like the just color scheme. It's very basic, so that's kind of how the character was like us in the comics, like you're saying. So I'm kind of glad they didn't do that additional type of shading like that. I just really like how this is.
I really think it does. Yeah, it adds a lot to these characters. Of course, Starman, there is one accessory included with the cosmic rod. Odd that they don't include a lantern for Alan Scott. They haven't included a lantern in the last few Green Lantern releases. Kilowog didn't have one. Guy Gardner didn't have one. Poor Alan doesn't get. We got to share, guys. Sharing is caring. So everyone's going to be clamoring for Hal and John Stewart's lanterns. But we can see here, I did steal Hal Jordan's lantern to put into Alan Scott's hand to see how that looks. Looks pretty good. Not quite the right color green for his color scheme, but still looks all right. Now, for very astute observers, you can tell that some of this may be some reused parts. And this is one of those situations where I think the way they did it works really, really well. So if we take a look individually, we can see that Starman is reusing the original Superman mold. And all they did there was kind of retool that right arm so that he can hold the cosmic rod. I'm okay with that. I don't mind that at all. It's not a straight repaint. Similar situation for Hourman. Here we have what looks to be the Vigilante or Flash body, but of course all of the new detailing there and the cape addition, the new head sculpt with the molded on hood, all looks very good. And the same goes for Alan Scott Green Lantern. Those are new arms, but the body is the classic Detective Batman. So new arms, new head mold, new cape, and it does so much. It just really adds so much to that figure and makes these guys their own, even though they're reusing a lot of parts, saving some money that way. I love it. I love it. And these guys are great.
Yeah, no sense in reinventing the wheel for each character. I mean, comic book heroes, superheroes, they're going to have very similar physiques anyway.
Sure.
So, you know, why not reuse them? And like you were saying, everything just came together really well. Really love the Alan Scott Green Lantern.
God, he looks great.
The two-tone is awesome.
It's awesome.
Love the super pop collar,
Yep.
you know.
Yep.
These capes, like you said, perfect just as they are. These characters are easily one of my tops.
These probably have taken over the Peacemaker set for our favorite 3-pack. Definitely better than the black and white SDCC 3-pack of Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman. But yeah, man, these are great. We will rank these as a set instead of individual figures because that's how they came. As a set, and individually too, probably. This is so good.
Yeah, 100% is so good for me as well.
All right, we've seen all of the figures individually, or in the case of the 3-pack as that set, we've ranked each of them separately. Now we will rank the line overall. Chris, I'm gonna let you start with this one because I gotta think for a second before I can give this one an overall rating.
All right, yeah, I'm thinking of it as well. I know we've got a lot of so goods in here, a couple goods, and then not BS. So for me, even though I really, really like it, I want to give it a so good. I am going to give it just a good rating overall for me.
Yeah, I think that's where I am too. This wave has a couple of my new favorite individual figures in it. But overall, I don't think it tops Wave 7 for me as the best wave so far. Wave 7 had some really cool vehicles in it, had a couple of Brainiacs in there. You got the Blue Beetle and the Blue Beetle bug ship. So I think Wave 7 so far still for me is my favorite wave. Wave 10 may change that. We've seen what Wave 10 looks like. I think that might be a very strong wave. I love the new Superman. I love the Bizarro. Even these gold figures are better than I expected that they would be. And this JSA set is probably the star of this wave for me. But yeah, I'm with you. I think it's overall, it is a good, and I don't think anyone will be disappointed with this. So most of you watching now have probably already received at least 4 of these figures, the Superman, Bizarro, Riddler, and Batman. Should be getting your JSA sets if you pre-ordered those very soon. Those are shipping. And the gold figures, I think, will end up in store. If you didn't get your pre-orders in at Entertainment Earth, which is where they were kind of exclusive to for pre-orders, I do think that those will show up in stores like the other Chase figures from past waves, like the Fleischer Superman and that kind of thing. So I would keep your eyes out at Target, at Walmart, at GameStop. Personally, I've had most success at GameStop, especially for the gold figures. So keep your eyes out there if you don't have those yet. You're going to really enjoy this wave. So let's take one last up close look at this entire wave together, see how they all stack up with each other. Very fun wave overall. As we said, it's very good. I think everyone's really going to enjoy this. I know we do. I'm very glad to have all of these in the Super Powers collection. And yes, there are minor issues throughout on some of these figures, but not so much that it affects our enjoyment of these figures. Very good wave. So our Wave 9 is done. The excitement is going to start dying down on this one pretty soon with all of these hitting your mailboxes very soon, or you finding them in stores. So now we patiently await Wave 10, which we shared with you guys about a month ago, a leaked video, and those have all turned out to be true. They were revealed at New York Comic Con last week, and we did post about that in a community post here on YouTube and on our Instagram. So if you aren't following us on Instagram, I highly recommend it. We break news there pretty often. And if you missed our Wave 10 video, you can find that somewhere right about here. Check that out when you get a chance. If you are digging our content, please consider giving this video a like. Drop your comments down below. Let us know what you think about Wave 9 and if you're excited for Wave 10. If you haven't done so yet, please consider subscribing. We'd really appreciate it, and we will catch you guys in the next one.
Have a great one, guys.